This is Half Serious, where we dig into the things that keep us going habits, hobbies, hell, even bad ideas, and the hard crap that nearly breaks us. Because life doesn't pull punches, and somewhere between the chaos and the craft, the dichotomy of life teaches us a lesson. We laugh, we curse, and we keep freaking going. So pour a drink or start your marathon, and let's get into it. This week we talked to Kathy. She is a seasoned paramedic and has worked hand in hand with cops, firefighters, doctors for a couple of decades now. There are very few people that cops trust on scenes, and it's not because they don't want to trust people. It's just because once you've seen people act in a certain environment, you know that you can trust them. And Kathy's one of those people. She is a trusted individual that we know that if one of us or one of them, since I'm retired now, is hurt and she's on the ambulance, they feel so much freaking better. She also knows what it is to risk when she goes onto a scene. Unfortunately, being a paramedic isn't a completely sterile career. You're going to get into the mix of things with cops and firefighters and have to go into homes that you don't want to go into, and you're not always 100% safe. A lot of these paramedics, they're willing to go out there and do that to get these individuals that need medical help to the hospital. She also goes into her passion for suicide prevention and just being open to talk to anybody about it because of her exposure to it in her family and just with her career in general. All right, without further ado, here's Kathy. You've been with ambulance service for 22 years. What did you do before that?
I worked in human resources.
Really? That is a jump. I would have never guessed that. But yeah, so
And
anyways.
now I'm human resources worst nightmare.
And that's why you're so close with all the cops.
That's why I fit in.
Oh, good. From my perspective, and we kind of talked about this a minute ago. I mean, I love talking shit about firefighters, right? Because that's just fun with siblings, sibling rivalry and all that shit. But as far as complete depending on somebody, cops in your guys' service, like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Every time. Especially if you're on that bus. It's like, fuck yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
we're good. We're good. So
knowing who's there when I get there is awesome.
yeah. Which I imagine with the younger crowd now, it's a lot harder.
It's a little harder, but I feel like I can tell them if I got old friends that'll take you down.
You'll start pulling the ranked people out
I
there.
drop names sometimes.
Good. You should. I think you've earned that right.
I drop names and they go, oh, you know them. I do.
Okay. We're fine, man. I don't want to name drop people, but I don't think Carrie would mind, but I think it was Carrie Dean that was on the bus.
Yeah.
When a buddy got hurt, and it was like, I looked on the bus and I saw her on there. I was like, okay, fuck yeah, good. And you were also one of those people, and I'm like, okay, good. She's on there. We're cool then.
We're good. Yeah.
There's very few people that you look on there and you're like, oh, okay, good. I know I'm covered. I'm not so worried. But so thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thanks for always going to the academy stuff and making sure that the cadets don't die. That's always a positive.
Try. Sometimes Larry saves them.
He's such a Larry, which I'm just going to say his name. There's 1,000 Larrys in the world, right? But we all know who we're talking about. Larry's such a subtle guy that yet instills instant fear in most people. It's such a good character
He was like
trait.
a dead on the ground, thought he was dying. I was trying to talk to him, and Larry said, don't close your eyes. People who close their eyes die. I did not save him. Larry did.
I'm gonna call bluff. I've seen lots of people die with their eyes open, which is honestly really freaking creepy.
Oh yeah, try working in the back of the ambulance with him looking at you.
Hey buddy, oh no, you're not good. You're not good. So not to jinx myself, but other than just having to go to the ER for random stuff, I've never actually had to ride in the ambulance myself for me. So I really don't know what.
You should do a ride along.
No.
You should do a ride along.
No.
You just ride with me in my supervisor car.
Yeah. You know what? For a day just to bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not?
We're gonna plan it.
But I don't really know what goes on in the back end once you guys take off and do your thing. So what's something that you replay and go back to a lot that happened in the back of an ambulance that maybe the cops wouldn't have been exposed to?
The first time I birthed the baby in the back of the ambulance, we got up to, it was in an apartment, top floor apartment complex, and we had to bring her down on the stair chair, which is the chair that we put them in and bring them down the steps. So she was screaming that it was coming out the whole way. And I had a male partner. And I was like, look, I've got to get you down here. You're going to have to quit screaming. I'm going to look once. I'd never birthed a baby in the back of the ambulance. If it's not there, we're going down these steps and you're going to quit screaming. So I went to the truck to get things ready. My male partner was at the bottom of the stair chair and she kept flipping off her little cover, and he had a good view of it, and she's
Yeah.
still yelling at the bottom that's coming out, and he was young, and he looked at me and he said, I saw it's not coming out. So we get her in the back of the truck, and I think, I'm good. We're in the back of the truck. We're going to go to the hospital. And I tell Fire they can leave.
Yeah.
And she yells one more time, it's coming out. And I look and it's coming out. And there's this little head looking at me just like, and I go through the center of our console and I look at
Mhm.
my partner and say, get Fire back right now. So, yeah, birthing the baby in the back of the truck is it's interesting. The little baby and he just, his little head just popped out there. And I was like, well, and she quit pushing because the head's out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you got to push the rest of him out. He can't hang out there forever.
Yeah, yeah. Is that, something you've
Yeah.
had to do a few times, or
A few. I mean, not as many as some people, but more than others. But once is enough.
Never, I don't think ever seen that on scene, luckily. That's not something I ever wanted to have to deal with, so
County
I'm
cops
glad.
had one in the back of his car one day, a
Really?
brand new car.
Mm.
Patient was at the PSC right down the street from my station. They could have just waited for me, but the nurse was afraid the baby was coming, stuck her in the back seat of the cop car, told him to
Oh.
go. It was
Oh,
brand new. It was his newest car, and he had to stop because the baby came out.
wow.
Yeah,
Still the back, I mean, at
and
least the
it's
cop car was new, but still the back of a cop car, those things are just so
yeah,
dirty.
they're dirty.
Like,
That smell, I don't know that he ever got out of there. But yeah, I got there and he's like, "It's here." And dude, if you would have just waited just a minute, I would have been there, and then you wouldn't have had to do this.
if it was me, I promise I would wait. I'm like, "No, I'm good, I don't need to deal with that." Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, it's
I
different.
draw the line of pulling crack pipes and bags out of hookers. I don't need to be pulling babies out of people. I've birthed so many crack pipes.
Hey, Tess, they got something in there. I'm not going looking. It's always interesting to see people birth babies the first time in the ambulance because it's if it goes right, then it's a wonderful experience
Yeah,
because you get the baby coming in the world. But if it
yeah.
goes wrong, it's sad.
'Cause I imagine you guys see more of the opposite than you do actually birthing life.
We see a lot, yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, and
yeah,
when somebody's tried really, really hard to have a baby and then they birth a little thing that's just a little body that's not, there's
yeah,
no life and there's nothing I can do. It's really hard because then they're just destroyed and there's not really, you can't say, yeah, there's nothing you can say to them.
yeah. It's just you gotta
So,
sit in it. There's no consoling with
yeah,
certain things. You're
there's
just gonna
not.
sit.
You can't, I mean, you really can't say, look at people and say, I understand how you feel.
No, and that
Oh,
just
yeah.
pisses people off too. I know you do. You? No, you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They get
sorry,
mad
I
at
really
me.
don't
They
know.
yell. I have to tell them, quit yelling at me because I have to call the cops.
I don't remember who I was talking to, a doctor or something like that, or somebody that's in the medical field, but they were the ones that brought it forward when they were talking about the difference between, they were talking about ambulance people that work in the ambulance and cops and stuff like that. They said the difference between us and them and the different than traumas and stuff is that when we see it, it's in a sterile environment. We can take it as, this is happening and this is happening in this room and that's the room that's supposed to be happening in. Whereas ambulance and cops and, well, it's us firemen in there too. I'm friends with some firemen, I like some of them. They, it's very much so everywhere, and you see it as it's happening,
We see unsafe environments. And
yeah,
I actually went to a class. I went to a self defense class for Greasy Medical and for healthcare workers. So we're hoping to do that soon. And one of the nurses that was teaching the class was like, he kept saying, "Yeah, we never know what we're walking into our hospital room." And I looked at him and I said, "Dude, we walk into their house." I said, and you're in the hospital room where you know everything is in that room. I'm
mhm,
walking into their environment. I'm walking into their home.
mhm,
And I don't know their psyche. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they have in that house. But I can't not go in because I have to help that person. And he was
yeah,
like, wow, I never thought of it that way.
yeah.
Because I mean, he's a nurse and he's always worked in that sterile environment. He just doesn't understand.
Like the things where you guys would come in and train in tandem with some of the command post stuff, and you guys would work the casualty collection point, and I was like, "That's cool." Like, y'all come in with the cops after stuff has been cleared out to a certain degree, and then you have this room where you guys do what you can to get them to the hospital and stuff. That's just the team mentality and the communication to actually make that stuff work, and you guys just be willing to do that too. Because I mean, probably something I'm thinking of right now that we're like, no, we can't. We're not going to do that. It's too dangerous. Well, I mean, it's as sterile as it can be.
Yeah, it's in working with when we were setting up the active shooter response plan when I was
Mhm.
involved with that and working with police and fire, and we worked really closely to try to do it. And one of fire's responses was, "You want me to go into a warm environment where it's not totally safe yet?" And the lieutenant I was working with was like, "It is as safe as we can make it, and we have y'all." And
Yeah.
I had to explain that to so many people, was I had to trust them. We have to get in there and do what we do, but I can't do that without their protection,
Yeah.
and they are not gonna let me get hurt.
'Cause they know
And
you're the one that's gonna save them if they get hurt
well, and
too. Yeah.
even training with when we trained with y'all, we sit in so many classes. When I went to active shooter classes, we sit in so many classes that the police were like, "We understand it's a lot for y'all to trust us, but it's we have to maintain that trust because if we ever let anything happen, none of y'all will ever come in with us again, and we
Mhm.
can't do this.
Yeah.
So we need y'all to trust us, but y'all have got to trust us."
Mm.
And talking to some SWAT guys, I remember them telling me that, they would take me in places because they knew that I would listen to them. If they said, "Move," I would move. If I didn't, they
Mhm.
say, "Don't move," I wouldn't move, and I would get down, and it was just that trust with them that
Yeah.
I knew they would have my back. I knew they would protect me with
Mhm.
their life, and they knew that I would listen to them, so they didn't have to, and that's why I tried to explain to people, it's huge if PD's going in and they have to focus on trying to find a bad guy, and
Mhm.
then they also have to I split their attention because they're trying to protect me. I don't like rescue task force because it just adds more to police officers when they're moving in tandem, they're trying to do things to have to worry about me. But if they can get us into a room and then they have
Mhm.
to protect that and then they can go about doing their other things and I'm in this room, then they know all those areas are safe. And it's very hard to get people to understand that
Yeah.
sometimes they think PD has to go where it's not safe, but sometimes we have to go where it's not safe too.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to kinda how good you guys are, and you especially, because I know you at your job. All it is respecting each other's skill level, right? I haven't trained anything in medical other than the little bit of street stuff that we had to do or that I do now with my current job. So it's the faith in, "Hey, you've trained your ass off on this stuff, and then you have faith in these other people that have trained their ass off and stuff." Some of them we probably shouldn't have faith in some of them, but we know certain people. Yeah,
"Ah, you don't
but
go in. You stay in the truck." The way we tried to set up this new active shooter plan was that everybody stayed in their own lane. Everybody did what they were comfortable with. We did have to, PD had to learn to do lifts and drags to bring people to me and things like
yeah.
everybody kind of cross trained a little bit, but it was just all about trust. It's very hard to get people to understand that
Yeah.
sometimes.
What do you think they need to do to make that better? Just train together more or
I really I push this all the time. I think, especially with our area growing so much, I think that we need to have quarterly meetings between the 3 entities and sit down because the way that we function as our entities has not changed in
Mhm.
tons of years, but we have, and our environment has changed. The growth has been ridiculous, and we haven't revisited some things, and I really think we need to have more. I think we need to have quarterly training with all 3 entities
Yeah.
and not even involve the hospital and not involve outside people. We just need to work on our relationship and how well we can communicate with each other and put our petty differences aside. And I
Yeah.
think that meeting quarterly to say, "Hey, I can say, 'Hey, fire, I need this from you,' and 'Hey, PD, I need this from you,' and y'all can tell me what y'all need from me, and then maybe I can't give you everything you do, but I can give you 5%. And, fire can give me 10%. Well, okay, let's start with that and let's meet 3 months later and see if we can give 15% the next time and see if we can make growth. It's a big change. And it's going to take a while, but because we have all lost that, there's not that camaraderie that there used to be.
Why do you think that is? Everybody just got too involved in their own problems or
I think some of it's ego. It's very frustrating for all of us because nobody in our county was ready for the growth. I mean, we heard it
Mhm.
was coming, but none of us prepared for it.
Yeah.
Even the hospital and doctor's offices, the growth has been so big. I think it's a lot of frustration. I think we take that frustration out on each other. We're tired because we're
That's
all
true.
having to work extra. We're all trying to do things. The public service as a whole, we're underpaid, so
Yeah.
we all have to work extra jobs. So we get
Mhm.
more tired. We're more tired and fussy with each other. And I think it's just, and I don't think when I got in EMS, there was this one big group that cared about each other and watched out for each other. And there was a little group over here that didn't give a fuck about anybody. And
Mhm.
now there's like a big group that doesn't give a fuck about anybody, and there's a little group that still watches out for each other. EMS and fire and police, we used to hang out together. We would talk
Yeah.
together. We knew each other's families. We knew each
Mhm.
other's likes and dislikes. And I mean, it's just not there anymore. I think the world's just too busy.
Yeah, and I guess maybe the growth, which, you talk about being tired and stuff like that and everything. I think that they did their self a huge disservice on all platforms, not investing in, you know, EMS's longevity, like the longevity of their personnel. Because so many are quitting now with 17 or more, or right there on
Yep.
the cusp of retirement. But it's like, nah, I mean, this is, I'm
Yeah,
out
they're done.
kind of thing. they did a huge disservice with that. I know they've got a bunch of new people that they can't fill their shoes. Like, they can't fill the boots, not the shoes of the people left. I'm not,
Right.
don't wanna be egotistical that way, but you know what I mean? Like, on all levels, on EMS, on,
I
you know.
just PD and fire and EMS used to be fire's a lot easier. I won't say it's an easier job, but it's just it's I don't feel like it's as hard on the soul and as hard on the body as policing and EMS is. Because I mean, all the stuff that police have to wear, all the things that they have to do,
Mhm.
the constant keeping their head on a swivel, the hypervigilance, it takes a toll on you. And then when we're going into bad situations, which fire does go in with us sometimes, but the number of calls we run, climbing, I tell people all the time, lifting and pushing and pulling, 400-pound people isn't what
Mhm.
kills us. It's climbing in and out of our ambulances that
Yeah.
many times a day
Mhm.
and moving around in the back of a moving ambulance, and
That's
it takes a toll on your body,
yeah.
and it used to be EMS was a career, and now we're good to keep people 5 years. I mean,
What do they use it as a stepping stool for?
they use it for a lot of things. They use it for fire. And the service I work for doesn't have state retirement. Some
Yeah.
services do, but, a lot of young people will start with us and they'll either go to fire or police because there's the retirement. More go to fire than police. But they use it,
Can't fault 'em for that, honestly.
right? And we have so many different schedules so that it works really well with schooling.
Mm.
And a lot of people, we've had some people who've gone on to be doctors. We've had tons of people who have gone to PAs and nursing. And it's just, not that nursing is easy, but the pay's better.
Yeah.
It's hard on the body and the soul too. But we've had people who go to, teaching from it. They teach at the, local universities and stuff. And then we've had, just other people who just have they love it, but they've gotten out of it. They've just gone on to do something else because they just realize it just, it eats you up a little bit at a time. And, it just like I said, a lot of people we know a lot of people go into flight service as either nurses
Oh, yeah.
or paramedics. That's a big thing. That's a huge adrenaline rush, and people love it. The pay's better, and,
Mhm.
it's easier. I mean, I may have a 24-hour shift, but I may only have to fly 3 times.
Yeah.
If it's raining, I don't have to fly at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but they use it for a lot of stepping stone. It's wonderful life knowledge to have just for your friends, for your
Yeah.
family, for everybody. It's a good stepping stone and it's a good job to have when you're learning, especially if you want to go further in medicine. My son is a doctor and he rode with me several times, and I think it's helped him on how he's an emergency room doctor, and I feel like it helps him
Yeah.
understand the paramedics and have a little bit better understanding for
Yeah, and have some
what we
empathy
do.
and stuff for how people
Yeah,
are brought in, I
telling me
guess.
can't be an ass to the EMS people. I do love what I do. I
Yeah.
love helping other people. And then there's just that whole once you get to a certain place, so you're making a certain amount of money, you can't you can't go
Yeah.
anywhere else. I have a fierce loyalty to my company. I know what we've done. We're the best of the best for a long time and we're still up there. Other services want to be like us.
Mhm.
And I enjoy a lot of the people I come into contact with. I enjoy my police friends and I enjoy,
Mhm.
firefighters that I'm close with. I could never go back to an office. I sat in an office for
Yeah.
a while. I could never go back to an office. I think that's what keeps a lot of people in it is that just that freedom. Maybe I run my ass off all day, but I'm outside and I'm moving. I'm not
Mhm.
sitting.
Sitting, just dying, and
Yeah,
yeah.
and I enjoy the interaction with people, and I find that sometimes when I get a little grumpy and, I fuss about a call, then I get humbled because I'll be grumpy and just pissed off that I have to go to a call, and that's somebody that touches somebody that just needs me or somebody that
Mhm.
just, just needs you to be there. So it's in my blood. My dad was military, my brother was a cop, the public service whole thing.
What do you still learn from it? Because 'Cause you've been in it for a while, so I imagine a lot of people come to you with questions and how to do things and also their good stuff, so what's
Medicine
still.
is always changing. Drugs that we use at one time, it goes out. There's all these studies, and that one's not working, but give it 10 years, and that one's right back on the market. I mean, that one's the forefront again. There's so many things. I get really frustrated. We get. My sister's probably the maddest she's seen me is when somebody's called me an ambulance driver. Totally rude to somebody that called me an ambulance driver in the restaurant one day, and she was like, "What's your problem?" Because I do more than drive an ambulance. But
Have
I
this bus
mean,
around.
things are changing so much. Medicine changes every day, and there's so much we can do in the back of our ambulance. There's so many different things, and we've just recently started carrying blood, and so
Oh,
we can
that's
give.
cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. We don't. I mean, we've given 99 times this last year. Somebody's waiting to be 100. We
That's
carry that
cool.
in our supervisors' vehicles. We get new equipment. We get
Mhm.
new things. I love to see people come out. They just have that love and their excitement for it. Sometimes I just want to tell them to shut up and go away because they're just like, yeah.
I know, but then you're like, "Wait, it is cool. I just forgot that it's
I
cool."
just forgot that it's cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, you just I
You guys have cool stuff on there. I don't remember where I was. I was assigned somewhere else off the street for a little bit, or maybe I had just been promoted out off of NARC. I don't remember, but it came back and there was a motorcycle wreck, and I was told he was dead. And I go back up to the near the ambulance, and all of a sudden, like the dude's legs was, oh shit, he's alive. And it
yeah.
was the first time I'd seen Lucas, though. I
Yeah,
don't. That's what
scary.
it was.
I had a cop tell me one time that if I put Lucas on him, he was gonna shoot me, and I was like, "Dude,
But I was like, oh no, he's alive.
dude, if I put Lucas on you, you can't shoot
Yeah.
me."
I don't know how to describe what it is. It's something that
It's
that
an automated CPR device.
yeah, so it smushes the crap out of you and
It
makes
does,
everything else,
but
like, jolt.
it does perfect CPR. It
Hmm,
does the correct depth because with, infants and then adolescents and then adults, we have to do a certain depth.
mm,
If you're not doing good CPR, it does it and we get tired. So, like, when
yeah,
Lucas won't fit a person, if they're too big or they're too small, we have to do the manual CPR. They want us to change out every 2 minutes because you get tired. Even though you think you got the adrenaline running, you're like,
yeah,
I got it." But you slow down and you have to go like 100 between 100 and 120 times a minute, and you have to go a certain depth, and Lucas does perfect CPR. When I first started, if we had to move somebody from the truck or from the house to the truck or down steps, you stop CPR. And that little bit of time stopping, but Lucas can just keep on jamming.
yeah,
It's
well,
pretty violent, though.
yeah, that
It's
is
pretty
violent to
violent.
see I was like,
It
"Whoa,
is. It
oh."
is. It is
Is it
pretty violent, but it does make a difference.
I mean, good, I'm
It's
glad it's saving lives, just
pretty
scared the shit out of me the
I
first
do
time I
not
saw
want
it. I
Lucas
just
on me. I have told him, "Do not put Lucas on me.
just try it, have faith in you.
Just let me go.
Ugh,
Just don't be putting Lucas on me." Lucas breaks people up pretty
yeah,
bad, but good CPR, if you do good CPR, if you're doing CPR correctly, you should be breaking ribs.
yeah, hearing that crack,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah,
mm,
it's not it's not
not pleasant.
not pleasant at
Mm-mm.
all.
What is something that you've done multiple times that is still enjoyable? You know how sometimes, like, you forget, like, we were just talking about, "Oh, shit, this is cool. I forget that this is cool." What's something daily that you just know is cool that you enjoyed? Something you still really enjoy?
I don't know what I
Like,
enjoy.
I can tell you, like, I loved command post. Like, if a
Right.
command post got
I
oh,
hate the
yes.
command post. God,
What?
I hate the command post.
Oh my god, I love command posts.
I hate command
I mean,
post.
like, obviously, if it
I
has to
will
do
send
something
everybody but me to the command post. I mean, like, "What? You only been here 3 days? Go to the command post."
command post for you.
I love seeing people when we have a save, and we don't have those very often when we get someone back totally neurologically intact. Everything has to line up wonderful, and it still feels awesome for me, but to
Mhm.
see new people who are just getting into it get that save and
Oh,
just wanna
yeah.
talk about it and be like, "God," and we went up
It's
into a room, and she was talking to us, and it's just awesome because we don't get that very often.
yeah.
Um,
You
it's
mean
really cool.
save, like, they were
We're dead.
DRT, dead right
Yeah,
there?
they were dead.
Yeah.
And, and just things worked out. Sometimes we get people back and they're not neurologically intact. They have brain damage because
Mhm.
they were down for unknown amount of time. Just the trauma is too much. But to be able to get somebody back who's neurologically intact, that you can go visit them a couple days later and they're sitting up talking to you and they're like, "Hey man, thank you."
Mhm.
And then just to see it's awesome when we get people who thank us because no public service gets thanked enough. And it's awesome to have, I love for people to call and tell me good things about my cruise so that I can, oh yeah, I'm going to type that up. They're going to get accommodation and that's going in there because we hear bad things so often. Wants to rag us and they want to, say all the bad, terrible things we did. It took you so
Mhm.
long to get here. You didn't get my mom out of the house quick enough or something like that. My mom hurt when you moved her. Things that we can't necessarily control when people say good things about my people. I love that.
I'm surprised because when you said that you guys weren't complimented very much, that's like, I knew people hated cops, right? It's easy. It's people hate cops. People love firemen. That's kind of the ways of the world. But I kind of thought that, you know, EMS was in more of like the
It's very discouraging to new people because oftentimes and it's something that I explain to them, when they get concerned that PD won't help us or PD won't step in anything, and I explain to them that we're all I mean, people videotape you all the time,
yeah.
and they wanna videotape you because 'cause you're not moving fast enough and
Mhm.
you're not doing something or you hurt me, mom, when you had to move her, and
Mhm.
it's just I had to get her on my stretcher to move, and when I got into this, people didn't do that. I mean, they called when they really needed an ambulance, and they were thankful that you were there because they needed somebody helping. Now it's like everything is just like it's almost like the world is so entitled now not everybody gets pain medicine because you might not need what I have. I might not have anything to give you because you might be allergic to what I have.
Mhm.
But it's they get frustrated and they want to yell and they want to cuss at us. When I first started teaching self defense for us, because people don't understand how often we get attacked too, and
Mhm.
how often we get hurt. One of the classes I took, they were like, when the developer of that class, when I first started teaching it, he said, people looked at him and go, "Why do EMS need self-defense? Who hurts EMS?" Because they
Everybody.
think you're there to help them,
Mhm.
but I mean, it's so often that it happens. People just it's society today. If you don't move fast enough, if you don't do just what they want, if they don't want to what to do, if they don't get a bed at the hospital, they get mad at me because I have to put them in a wheelchair and give them to the hospital to go somewhere else, and they're like, "It's your fault. I didn't get a bed."
You think it's because it's like a DoorDash generation where they're used to just getting things to their door, so do they call you guys more often to respond, or
They
is it
really do. We get a lot of calls that they'll tell us, "I'm just calling y'all because I'll get a bed quicker,"
Mm.
and then it's a very big falsification. Just because you
Now
come in
everybody
by
thinks
ambulance, and honestly, we were very spoiled. We never had wall time. Places across the nation have had wall time where when we go in on an ambulance, we used to walk right in and they'd give us beds. Now you
Mhm.
may be standing against the wall, holding the wall with your patient for 30 minutes, and the places across the nation, they hold the wall for hours.
Wow.
Everybody's so entitled. It's me, 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 me. But we've been spoiled for forever.
And now it's starting to feel the
And
effects
now
of
we're
it?
starting to feel the effects of it.
Mhm. Well, I guess it was inevitable, but
It
still.
was.
I know that you're big into mental health, and you've been an advocate for that, like we were talking about earlier before it was trendy. I don't know if it's trendy, but it's become less,
There's less of a stigma.
yeah.
It's more accepted that we all in public service and nursing and doctoring and everything, that it's okay. There's still a really big stigma, and it's really hard to
Mhm.
get some people to come out and talk about it because they've worked other places that they've been judged, and I mean, we do still judge, but there's a big stigma in public service and cops and firefighters and EMS. It's weird because we're all supposed to be these tough guys, and we're
Yeah.
supposed to have thick skin, and nothing's supposed to bother us, and it's very hard because it's like I tell new people, EMS will eat you up. It'll eat your soul a little bit at a time. You have to
Mhm.
have healthy outlets. You have to have somebody to talk to, whether it's a professional psychologist, because a lot of people, cops are terrible. They don't want to talk. They don't want to talk to no professional people. And
I
but
mean,
even
I'll say it's hard because they don't the ones that I've tried ever truly understand, like, where we're coming from.
right.
Or there's, like, a dismissiveness to some stuff when you're like, it's a big deal, but you don't wanna say it's a big deal, and then they dismiss it. And I was wondering if that's is that the same in kinda the EMS world
It
too?
is, and we're all cops, fire, police, we'll say it. I mean, we'll say things. We have a dark sense of humor, and
Mhm.
we'll just say things.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if I go in and say some things that I'm thinking, if
Mhm.
I talk to you and
Mhm.
I say something, I go in and say that same thing to a psychiatrist, they are writing over here that I am a crazy motherfucker and I need to be
You
locked
are a
up.
crazy motherfucker.
And but if I may talk about when I walked into the room, I knew there was brain matter because I felt it under my shoe and I felt the
Yeah.
crunch of the skull. I
Mhm.
mean, those are things that I can talk to people that are in it. But if I say that to a therapist who doesn't understand what I
Mhm.
do, then they just think that I'm a fucked up individual.
Yeah.
And really, we're just used to saying things just like it is
Yeah.
because I mean, we see it. It's not that we're desensitized to it. We are in a sense used to it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't bother us.
Mhm.
And I mean, but we're used to just saying it. I was, "Hey, Tess,"
Mm.
and this guy blew his brains out, and you're like, "Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all over the wall." But if I go in, I say that it's people who just don't understand us. Some therapists specialize in public safety. It's people who understand
Mhm.
what we go through. I've had several people who I've referred to people, not individually because I don't
Mhm.
really know any doctors that do these things, but I can put them in contact with somebody who can. And when the difference between when they've gone to somebody who hasn't understand them because they're
Mhm.
afraid to say what they feel because that person's going to judge them because
Mhm.
they don't understand us. And when they get to somebody that they can talk to, it makes a world of difference. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think a huge part is just killing the stigma that sits there with us because and I tell people every day, you have to talk to somebody, whether it's a professional or whether it's a friend. Oh, I can talk to my husband or my wife, my significant other, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can't. They don't get it. They don't want to hear it because it makes them feel uncomfortable. So you have to kind
Mhm.
of feel it out. I tell people all the time, my phone's on 24/7 because I'd rather hear their problems at 3 o'clock in the morning than
Answer that
be
call.
standing at the sidewalk, at the side of the grave. So
Mhm.
it's so hard getting people to understand, and it's so hard. We tend to have cops, fire, police, nurses. We tend to have really bad habits. We tend to drown ourselves in other things that aren't good for us.
Yeah.
And I tell people, healthy habits. You ain't got to be out running marathons, but just something. Get outside in the fresh air. Don't sit at
Mhm.
home.
Something that doesn't smell like dead bodies or crack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Either
huge.
form of crack.
It's huge. And you should always have a dog.
Oh, that's true. Oh my god, what is your
His
dog's
name
name?
is Finnan, and he is a golden retriever, and he has
That dog.
done we have had him for coming up 3 years. He's 3.5 years old, and he's been coming to work since he was 4 months old, and he changes so many people's lives. So, I think all workplaces should have a dog. It's
That is cool.
it's hard to take him to work every day and have to keep up with him and,
Yeah.
but he loves our people, and just seeing people the cops love him, and
Yeah, it was awesome.
fire
Great
kinda
vibe.
loves him. They haven't really embraced him, but
It's 'cause they have their own, little thing.
yeah, but all of our people love him. It's made such a difference in our morale. I've been off on days when people have called and said, "Hey, can you bring Finnan in? Because I just ran a really."
Yeah.
And people walk in the office, they're like, "Hey, Finnan, where's Finnan?" They don't even say, "Good morning, Kathy." They say, "Where's Finnan?" And I'm like, "Hello, I'm here too. Thanks for."
I'm the owner of Finn.
I'm Finnan's chauffeur, you know. SWAT tends to get mad at me because they're like, ask me where their dog is, and I'm like, I didn't know he was your dog. He's not
So
very
cute,
stealthy.
though.
Yeah, he is, and he honestly, he's just made for the job. He makes a world of difference, and we only got him because like tried for years to get him because other services had him, and I think now we'll probably always have one.
Good. I was gonna ask you, I was like, did he go through training and stuff, or did you just happen upon him and then you decided to train him?
I found him. I purchased Finnan because I wanted us to have a dog. And it just wasn't falling into place yet. So I kind of got him and he wasn't totally approved. But here's the dog. He is a therapy dog, but he's not gone through all that therapy training like a
Mhm.
lot of people. It's a multi-year process. And Finnan went and stayed for 5 weeks with a local trainer who trained him his obedience training and everything because our crews will take him out back of our stations and just let him run and spend time outside with him. He goes out in the bay when trucks are moving. He has to be able to do his recall and stuff. He mostly did obedience training. The guy that I worked with, he's more into bite dogs and police dogs and things like
Yeah.
that. I had to remind him that Finnan is a sensitive golden retriever, and I needed
Mhm.
him to be nice to my dog when he went away for
Oh,
he went away for 5 weeks. He did a little bit of therapy training, but it comes natural with him.
yeah.
The trainer was like, I don't know. He's got the personality that he just is at ease and he doesn't get stressed out and
Mhm.
stuff. He just has a wonderful personality.
Mm.
It comes natural to him.
That was really cool to have him around.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome to see big bad police officers be like, "Oh, come here,
No.
little puppy."
Turn into little girls. Puppy.
And some of our big burly guys at work, they just come, our crews will come in and just lay on the floor with him
Mhm.
and just, pet him and love on him. And he's happy when he comes to work. So it makes a world of difference.
So, talking about suicide and all that other stuff, I'm sure you have those certain calls that replay in your head you can't actually get out, and then they sneak up
Hmm.
on you. If you care to share, what's one that haunts you, and how do you deal with it?
I hate suicides by gunshot to the head. I hate them, obviously, because, a family member was there, but I hate those. Sometimes I cry when I go on those. Sometimes I cry on the way there. Sometimes I cry after. And it's a lot of anger because I know personally what it does to the
Yeah.
and I get angry, and then I have to remember that person was in such a dark place that they felt like that was the only way out. And I used to view suicide as a purely selfish thing. And having dealt with it with family member and knowing and friends and knowing how it affects those left behind, knowing how they cared about those people, I don't really believe it's totally selfish anymore. Because with our family particularly, they would have never done that if they knew the sorrow and the pain that
Yeah.
it would have caused their family member. I just sometimes the demons talk to you at night, and sometimes you wake up in a cold sweat. And I tell people all the time, I just sleep with the light on. And they're like, "You fucking sleep with the light on?" I'm like,
Do.
"It's what I do." I
Yeah.
mean, it keeps the demons at bay, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that we all have demons and we all know they're there. If you admit they're there instead of trying to push them into a corner and say they're not there. And people look at me strange when I'm that way too. Sometimes you have to talk to your demons and keep them at bay, and sometimes you just have to discuss things with them. I hate suicides in general because I know what it does to a family, but I definitely hate headshots. I deal with them. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I talk about it, sometimes I just scream.
So you actually do a healthy thing, which is dealing with it as it actually occurs or slightly after.
Right.
Whereas most people, I guess the unhealthy, and I'll lump myself in there too, you just internalize the shit out of it. You're
Mm,
like, "Oh, yeah, okay. Cool,
yeah.
later. Deal with that later."
Yeah.
So do you feel like
I
that's a better route that you've taken with it, or
I don't know. I think everybody has to deal with it individually. And I think I think knowing it's there, even if you compartmentalize it, even if you internalize it, I think you know it's there and you acknowledge that it's there. You don't just push it into the back of
Mhm,
your subconscious and say, "Hey, it's not there. There's nothing wrong with me. Nothing bothers me." I think as long as you admit it, you don't totally ignore it, because I think when people do try to still maintain that sense of I'm a Billy badass and nothing bothers me, and they keep putting it all into a box.
mhm,
Sometimes that box is gonna get full and it's gonna explode. It's taken me a long, long time to get where I was. I know that my mind didn't work that way when I was new into EMS. And that's
mhm,
why I try to counsel people all the time. I try to counsel people not to overwork. And it's very hard when you wanna do good when you're young and, scheduling calls and says, "Hey, will you work?" And you wanna say, "Yeah," because you're like, "Hey, I'm
mhm.
just helping out and I'm just doing this, and the money's nice." But you have to say no sometimes. You have to remember for you. So I try to make people know it's okay to say no, and it's okay to ask for help. And I try to explain to them just the way I work with it doesn't mean that's how you're gonna work with it.
Yeah.
As long as you have some kind of outlet.
Do you think that these younger generations, are gonna be better at it than we were? Do you see a better trend on it?
Think younger people today are very quick to say, "I have a mental problem," or, "Hey, I have anxiety," or it's just almost cool to say you have anxiety, or, "Hey, I have depression." It's
Yeah.
almost cool to say it now, and I don't really wanna say they use it as a crutch, but I think they're very quick to go that route, and society as a whole was very quick to medicate. I
Mhm.
understand there's nothing wrong with needing medications, especially when you've been doing what we do for so long. Sometimes you need that medication to help you sleep or to help you wind down. You got to do it in moderation. And I see the youth of today, they don't have coping mechanisms. We had coping mechanisms. We knew how to at least keep going. Sometimes I hesitate to talk to younger people about mental health because then I'm like, I'm just giving them that crutch. I'll
Yeah.
never not talk to them about it, but sometimes I just think, "Shit, now they're gonna use that every time I turn around."
Yeah. I didn't realize it would piss me off so bad, but a friend joked about having PTSD because something happened, but I don't even think I think they were being serious. And it was something minuscule, like something minor that happened. They're like, "Oh yeah, PTSD. I can't do that anymore." And I'm just like, "You bitch! Like you have no idea what the hell that is." And
Yeah,
I'm not saying I got it. I'm saying like we're all familiar with
right,
it.
yeah. So long, I hated the term PTSD.
Yeah, yeah,
My dad was a decorated war veteran from Vietnam. He was an infantry sergeant who served 2 tours in Vietnam. He was in some of the ugly places. He was in Pleiku and Da Nang and Dak To. He was in all those ugly places as a sergeant in the infantry. So,
yeah,
he saw a lot of ugly things.
yeah.
When they came home, there was nothing, and I was too little to remember any change, but my sister said he was a changed person because of what he saw and what he did, and there was no help for them. I hated when people would say PTSD, PTSD, PTSD. They coined that phrase too
Mm,
much, and I still get really pissed off when I hear it. I
yeah.
know it's something that happens. Is and I've told people for years that in EMS especially, and it's probably the same in police and fire. I've just never really thought about it from you guys' point of view. But in EMS especially, I think that we struggle more with cumulative stress disorder because it's just an accumulation of things over time.
Mhm.
Some people can point out one thing that caused them to be there. But sometimes that doesn't affect you right then. It's a bad call, but it doesn't affect you right then. But then 6
Mhm.
months down the road, you smell a smell that reminds you of that, and you just go down a rabbit hole and you're gone. And it's just because a lot of times we don't deal with our feelings as we run them. And like with us in our service right now, we have so high call volume, and we don't have time to decompress and to reset after
Yeah.
the calls we have. I may run a call where someone's mother just shot herself in front of them. And I'm trying to deal with all of that and that family dynamic and dealing with that person. And then my next call is a 20-year-old who stubbed their toe 3 days ago, but they think that if they go by ambulance, they're going to get to bed quicker.
Mm.
And I'm just, I, didn't- and
Got 5 seconds to change.
because we're under the microscope, I can't very well say you're a fucking moron.
Mhm.
I have to respect the fact that you're my patient,
Mhm.
and I've got to treat you decent, and I've got to take you to the hospital. but it's just turning those switches so quick and not having time to decompress. And I do still hate the term PTSD.
I don't know anybody that likes it. Well, in our line of work anyways. I was talking to, Kevin that will probably be on the week prior to yours. We were talking about the shitty calls and stuff, but also if you have that lull and then stuff starts bubbling to the surface, like, oh shit, we gotta hurry up and get another call, another bad call, another
Mhm,
bad call.
mhm.
And then you're not focused on the ones that were before that because you keep getting that worst call. And it's like, how can I go to the bigger and better call now,
Yeah.
to kind of subside the thing before that. So I figure EMS is kind of the same
Yeah,
way to a
it is,
degree.
yeah.
It doesn't work
It does not
in
work at
the
all.
long run.
And then you're banging your head against the wall.
The
"What are you doing
panic
in there?"
wall.
"Nothing. Nothing, mind your business."
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's two of the same. I wonder if fire. I mean, because I don't talk to fire like that really, so I don't know if fire does the same thing or not. Because they're. I think people don't realize the difference between fire and the rest is EMS is definitely out there a ton more, and police between calls they have to be proactive, so there is no lull time, and I don't feel like EMS there's any lull time because it's literally
Not a
boop
whole
boop
lot,
boop boop.
yeah.
But fire there is lull time unless they're
There's a
on
little
maybe on a
time.
medical or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, and I mean,
but
they do run some like here. Now, I mean, a lot of fire services are fire-based EMS services, so they
yeah,
also have an ambulance station in their fire station, so they're running calls and they may swap out on the trucks and stuff, but our city's not.
that is true. It's
And
different city to city. I don't
and
wanna
it
disrespect
really is
firefighters at all.
in times that we, have had training with, different agencies that have come for active shooter training with
Mhm.
PD, and they haven't understood the dynamics of our city
Mm.
because fire and EMS is totally different, and they're like, "But our fire," and in a lot of big cities especially, they go hand in hand.
Mm.
And they run certain calls with us, but they don't have to run all the medical calls with us. So they have a little downtime. And, but it's like I tell people, I mean, fire, when they work really hard.
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes they have that downtime that we
yeah.
don't always have.
Because I know some of those departments, they don't have much downtime at all, so I guess it does vary department to department,
Yeah, our
so
city's just different. It really
yeah,
is. There's a different dynamic with fire and EMS. I think sometimes that's kind of the problem between us all is that we just don't
yeah.
have that
The
same
sibling
dynamic.
rivalry because of privilege. You're like,
Yeah.
"Why do you guys
Why do
get to"
you get to cook? You've got to get back to your station to get you got ribs on the grill. I wish I had a grill.
I don't go off on people very often or, rarely anyways in the PD, but I remember some call it was some bullshit call, but I mean, it was a shitty call, not a bullshit call, and I remember being so mad because some firemen showed up, and we needed them bad. For whatever it was, we needed them, I can't remember what it was.
I was such a good sit
And, and they one of them showed up, his shoes were barely on him, he was barely had his clothes on him, and he was bitching about having to come to the call, and
Mhm.
I laid into him. I was like, "You fucking asshole." I was like, "We needed you, and you can't even come here dressed, tired." I was so mad, and it wasn't the great react it shouldn't have been a reaction I needed, but it was one of those long days, lots of bad shit.
I had to apologize to a firefighter last
Yeah.
week because he said something to me on scene, and I told him to fuck off. And I said it very rudely too. And then I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I'm having a bad day." And he was like, "I get it. It's okay." But I mean, that's
It's
kind of
also
you've
why it
got to have
goes.
that relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, but
You have to be able to
there
say, "I'm
are times,
sorry."
and I get it. I just had a discussion with a firefighter recently because he had an issue with one of our crews, and
Yeah.
he was talking about respect, and I was like, "Dude, it's respect both ways.
Mm.
You gotta respect us when we're asking for your help and you're mad because you wanna go back to the station and go to sleep." He's like, "Well, you should respect me." And I'm like, "You should respect me." I
Yeah.
mean, if I
Two-way
said, "My
street.
crew can't respect you if they don't know you."
Yeah.
He was like, "They should I'm a paramedic and they're not." And I was like, "They don't know you. We don't know everybody. And if you're a
Mhm.
paramedic, just say, 'Hey, I'm a paramedic. What can I do to help you?'" If you approach it
Yeah.
that way instead of being, "I'm a paramedic,"
Yep.
I mean, it's that automatic headbutting, and it's we don't need that. When you get mad at me because I need you on scene because you're not getting to sleep, well, I'm not sleeping either.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I didn't ask my mom to die right now,
Yeah.
but I need your help. So come on. You know,
Yep. Yep. And when the good ones are good, I mean, there's some damn awesome ones out there too. It's just it's a not understanding each other and being jealous of certain things, especially if you're really fucking tired and you
yeah,
know that they just got up or
yeah.
you're like, "Son of
But they've
a
had a 6 hour nap. They come out,
damn it."
their hair's all messed up, and you're like,
just
You're
as my
sleeping.
food was cooking. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Damn it,
Food?
back to taco salad. I can't eat it because I just saw Johnny's brains on the
Yeah,
ceiling."
yeah.
It's like, come on.
It's kinda hard to eat my taco
I know.
driving code 3 down the road.
No ground beef for a little bit.
Yeah.
So the whole suicide situation with all of first responders, how can they be better at that then? Do you think the peer support thing is helping, or do you think there's another thing that we need to be doing that's better?
I think
Or do you
peers
guys have peer support?
we do. We don't have an organized thing. We used to have a long time ago, we had what was critical incident stress debriefing.
Mm,
Y'all had some PD people who were trained in it, and we had some people who were trained in it, and we had and we had some fire people who were trained in it, and you helped each other out. Because you're and something people don't understand, they think, "Oh, we have a peer support group," but you're
mhm,
not supposed to debrief your own people. You're supposed to rely on those around you. They say it's so important. If you catch somebody in the first 24 hours and you say, "Hey, I know what you're going through. I know what you've gone through. I know the call you went on. You can be feeling all these things, please know that it's okay to talk to me at any time." If you catch it within the first 24 hours,
mhm.
then a lot of times if you just give them that little bit of knowledge then that everything you're feeling is normal. You may not feel anything. It may hit you tomorrow. It may hit you 6 months down the road. You may feel everything on my list of things that you can feel, and that's normal. You may feel nothing, and that's normal. But if you talk to them within the first 24 hours, a lot of times you don't have to have that big critical stress debriefing because
Mhm.
you've set the tone and they know they can come talk to you and they know that there's other people they can talk to. But in big instances, if I talk to them like that and then they know that's available, then I can set up calling somebody from PD or calling somebody from fire to come and actually sit with them
Yeah.
in a group and have it. Fire has some guys trained and PD has some guys that have done the peer support group, the elites and classes like
Mhm.
that we're all kind of cross trained on. We just have to remember to depend upon each other, and we have to remember that there are other people and other agencies who are trained, and to call on them to do it. It's okay to talk. It's okay to not talk, but you need to be aware of these things. And I think just being very open about it and being
Mhm.
very upfront about it. I've had calls where I've ridden in with a crew and I've been crying, and they're like, "You don't have to ride," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna ride with you because I got to help you. I can do my job, but I can
Mhm.
cry about it." And then
Yeah.
I go vomit in the bushes afterwards. But I mean, I think it's just being upfront and telling people there are people that can help you. I'm here until we get see people who are in to do it. And
Is
it's
there
just
is
acknowledging it.
so the ones that that I'm trying to use 10 codes on here, but that have committed suicide, was there something that gave you a hint? Because I mean, the people I know that have, I'm like, "Damn, I should have known because of A, B, and C, and I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't." But is there some of that that haunts you? Like, you're like, "I think I saw a few things." I mean, not that you could've done shit. Or do those things and how do you handle that stuff?
I try to tell people all the time that you can't second guess yourself because that'll drive you crazy. I don't care what God you believe in, what
Mhm.
God you don't believe in. It's in somebody's hands greater than ours. And that if you sit and you try to understand, it's okay to wonder. It's okay to be mad. But you have to pull back after a while. If you what if, you
Mhm.
will drive yourself crazy. There's multiple times with different people in my life who have committed suicide. I thought, what? Why didn't I see that? But
Yeah.
even then, it's like but if I saw it, would have made a difference because if they were in that darker place, could I have changed it? I might have been able to, but I might not have been. And there's times when there's family members who have said, "Well, what if I would have approached them on that?" But they were in such a dark place that I worry that if they would approach them, that they might have hurt them too.
Yeah.
So it's just a tedious. It's just kind of a something you have to be very careful with, and you have to be very cognizant of the fact that yeah, you can have questions, but sometimes you're not going to understand it, and it's okay not to understand it. It doesn't necessarily make it easier, but
Mhm.
it's okay. I can't understand that.
Do those the calls that you hate going to? Not the ones where they've actually committed the act where you responded to pretty much a dead body at that point, but the ones that, it's an attempt or whatever. Do you hate those calls because you know that it's harder to come to have a outcome that you can kind of control?
Eh, I think it depends, and I don't. Sometimes attempts and ideations are cries for help. Sometimes they're attention seeking. And it makes me very angry when I think and I try to understand that they're going through something, but it makes me very angry when it's what I feel is attention seeking. I don't ever tell them I think this is attention seeking. I still talk to them the same way I would talk to somebody else. Hey, you're asking for help. It's very important to tell people that it's people look at asking for help as a weakness, but it's really a strength
Yeah.
because you're strong enough to say, "Hey, I need help and I can't handle this on my own." I still talk to those people, but it's very frustrating for me for somebody who and some people are just very blatantly seeking attention.
Mm.
And it's just you just wanna shake them and say, "This is not a laughing matter."
Yeah.
It's important just to treat people as humans. Sometimes there's committal processes, and people don't wanna they think that if they come with me that and I explained to them, "As long as you come with me and we're agreeing on things, just go to the hospital and talk to somebody, and it's all still in your hands." But if you get caught up in that whole committal thing, then you lose any say in your medical care for a while. And
Mhm.
it's just talking to them like they're a human and not trying to bully them and not trying to boss them and just saying, "Hey, look, let's do this." I think treating people with
Mhm.
kindness and with respect makes a world of difference. I had a guy one time that he was manic. He was a big old dude, and I mean he could have killed me in the back of the truck. But I talked to him like he was human. He was off his meds. His brother called me and said he's in the front yard. I can't get him in. I got him in the back of the truck. He rode me to the hospital. He let me start an IV. He was calm the whole way because I talked to him like he was a human, and I talked to him about his problems and
Mhm.
things. I explained everything I was going to do to him. He walked into the hospital because he wanted to walk into the hospital, not ride on my stretcher. And the minute I got there, the staff were like almost argumentative with him. He ripped out his IV. He like picked up one of the
Mhm.
hospital beds and like slammed it against the wall. He was fighting them. And they asked me after there's like, how did you get an IV? I was like, because I didn't escalate it. I
Yeah.
talked to him. I treated him with kindness. It was just a respect thing.
I hate to ask this question, but also I'm gonna. But have you had to go to any of the officer involved incidents? Those things that I've gone to, I kind of forget who's where. I know when our last one passed that I was at the range with you that morning. So I got attacked by those two dogs because I'm pretty sure one of my officers was trying to kill me, sending me on a fucking run.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally safe to run over here, and I had to throw. Yeah, that was two meth head
To
dogs, and then I
on
know you were out there for that, so I
On
think
that one, we had a IRT training that day, and we had
yeah.
finished IRT training, and we actually sat down like, we finished early, and we were sitting down we were gonna go eat, me and my other medic, and we heard it come out. Actually, somebody called me and told me, and, I called and I was like, "Who is it?" And he's like, "I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on." So I, actually went to the hospital. That was where we first
Mm.
went. And I dropped my other medic off to help on that scene, so I didn't stay on that scene. I went back to the hospital because I felt like I felt like I needed to be there for the
Yeah.
officers, and I needed to be on the ramp with the officers. The one before that, with Billy, I was at home. I was texting everybody that night. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm here if you need me, call me. I'll be there. Do you need me to come to you? My phone's on." That night, I didn't go because sometimes I didn't want to intrude. Then
And
I know that I wouldn't have been with the last one. Like I said, I didn't go back to the scene. I was just at the hospital. And then other ones I've been at the hospital for. And it's wonderful to see the camaraderie that you guys have, that police officers have, that I don't feel like we have that in EMS anymore. But it's heartbreaking to see that too.
yeah. I mean, I feel like you guys are pretty close, at least from the outside in. And you're so close with the PD, I think you just are one of them. Like, I thought I remembered you seeing you, and that's why I was asking because I didn't know if you had played a role in anything. Well, I mean, I know you play lots of roles because you soothe everybody, and everybody loves fucking seeing you there. So, but I just didn't know if you had how much you had to participate in any of that stuff.
No, like I said, I just, think
I went home early that day too because I was like, "Well, this day can't get any worse. I'm gonna go home." And then immediately,
I like,
my my hand is bloody, my ass is
but
bleeding, and I'm like, "Well." As soon as I stepped in that door, I was like, "Son of a bitch!"
and it was not funny, but it was like, I went into almost mama bear mode, and I was like, "Okay, what do we need at the hospital? I need a room," and I was working with the nurses, like, "They've got this room," and I was like, "I need food and water. Bacardi, go get snacks." I was bossing, and I really wasn't even the boss, and telling
It's
people
shit
what to
done.
do.
I mean, really, like Also, honestly, all right, there's a bunch of cops there. No, that's the only time I ever see cops not knowing what to do, right? Because there's not any jobs
What
that
do
they
with
can
my hands?
yeah, they're like, "I don't know what to do." And you go in there and you're like, "No, this is what I need." So, I mean, that's what they needed. That's what they fucking needed.
He just looked at me like, what? That's a boss of me.
Bitch,
My
I
sister was
said
on the phone going, "Do I need to bring food?" I was
it's
like, "I don't know what we need." My niece was calling, "Is everybody okay? And what do I need to do?" Of course, I mean, that brought back too many memories for her. But I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was just like my family was like, "No, I don't need you to go get snacks."
I love it how it goes straight to food. It's like whenever there's something, it's like, "Oh, food, everybody needs food." It's like nobody wants to eat, but and we know it's good to eat, right, on a peer
Right.
support thing. Like, you need to eat and digest and stuff, but at the same time, nobody wants to eat, but it's always like, "Food!
How can we help? We'll bring food.
Oh, nobody's starving to death. You're okay." But, you know,
Yep, it was,
it's a good show of support is
I
what it
left my
is. That whole thing's never fun.
no, and you got bit by dogs today.
That
I
was
forgot about that.
yeah.
I forgot about you coming back from your run. Damn dogs.
But and I think this is true because one of our buddies told me the people that own those dogs died not too long after that, and that the dogs ate them. Was and then the county came out and had to shoot the dogs. I'm like, yeah, justice served.
Serves you
Shit.
right.
My hand went down one of those dogs' throats and had to pick him up and toss him into the. That's when my hand was bleeding because he bit me, and so I just stuck my hand down his throat and then picked him up and put him into the ditch. And the other dog came. I was like, one of them was a golden retriever. When do golden retrievers bite? And I was like, what the hell? So yeah, they'll get back after there's a new sergeant training stuff we were doing out that way, and I was like, well, this day couldn't get any worse.
Did.
Said that shit out loud. That was a problem.
Yeah, you spoke it into existence.
Just kept it to my fucking self. But yeah, no, I have a bite marks on my ass from the dogs. Okay.
Ain't no much personal life says.
Just look at your face. I already saw where it was gonna go. From the dog.
I was like, what is she talking about that? We were in a sad place.
Anyways. All right. So if you were to go back, would you choose the same path that you did? And if you would, what would you tell yourself to better prepare?
So, how I got into EMS was I wanted to be a firefighter. I was going to go to Madison Fire because Madison Fire was a smaller, closer knit group, I felt. Even back then, they required their people to be a basic EMT. And when I started doing EMS, I was like, oh, I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do this. That and I failed the CPAP. Most people don't know that.
Hey, I will give the firefighter that credit. That's a pretty hard looking
It's a
test.
pretty
I've
hard
never
test.
done it, but it
The
looks like
stairs are ridiculous. It's a male thing, and the stairs they go so fucking slow.
And you have to walk up it with
You
the
have to-
mask on, or
You have to have a 75-pound vest on.
oh, that's right. Okay.
So you have to have 75 pounds on for that, and then they take 25 pounds off, and you do the rest of it with 50-pound vest.
Mhm.
So it's the stairs get a lot of people. It's totally mental because of the way it's slow and like you can't touch the sides and you can't hold on to the rails and you
Mhm.
just it's a mind game. So I got into doing EMS and I really liked it. I did at one time consider being a doctor, but I had two small children at that time and I knew that it
Mhm.
would take 10 years out of my life. I think would I have liked doing that better than I do now? I mean, would it have changed my life, my kids' lives, or anything? I don't know. But I did not want to lose that time with my kids. They were
Yeah.
both young, and I just doing my EMT stuff, my paramedic stuff took a lot of time away from them, and I just didn't want to. Um, think I would probably tell myself. I think in the beginning to be easier on myself and to be a little more flexible and not have to
Yeah.
be just I think just and it's easy for me. It's like I tell people now, young people, it's very easy for me to say you need to do these things and you need not to be need not put so much time into work and you need not to put, give
Yeah.
yourself to the company. You need to make sure you have time for yourself. And I think I did a lot of that. And that's why I explain to people when I talk
Mhm.
to young people, I'm not saying this because it's
Mhm.
easy. It's very easy for me to say this from this side of the fence. These are lessons that I've learned because I didn't miss out a lot on my kids' stuff because I was always there for my kids. But I think I should have done maybe more fun things. I get more trips. I mean, just because I do it more now
Mhm.
with my kids and my grandkids, maybe when they were little, and maybe made more time for me. I don't ever think I missed out on my kids' stuff. I was
Yeah.
always there. That was very, very important for me to be at their sporting activities and their, all the things that they did. But I might have told myself to be more compassionate, but maybe more understanding of
Yeah.
people. Like I know with suicide, for a long time, I felt like it was personal, and sometimes maybe I judged people because of that. When
Yeah.
it kind of tainted my thought process on some things. But I think maybe more understanding of different things, maybe trying to open up my mind a little.
No, I concur with that. I don't know how to get that across to a new person.
I don't. I
It's
don't.
like, mm, uh,
I try to teach people that it doesn't cost me anything to be kind, and that, I don't know what put that homeless person on the street,
yeah,
and that the homeless person deserves as much compassion, as much kindness as, the mayor. And until somebody shows their ass and is ugly to me, it doesn't hurt me to be nice to the homeless person. Okay, so I know they only want to go get warm and eat a sandwich at the hospital in the back of their truck. They're like, I just need a sandwich. Do they have turkey or ham today? But it doesn't cost me anything to be mean to them. It's not
yeah,
it's not anything out of my pocket to take them to the hospital. So I try to teach young people that, because sometimes we have preconceived notions about people, and we never know. I mean, some people choose to live on the street, but some people,
yeah,
they just, due to their mental health or due to just circumstances, they end up there. And as long as they're being respectful and nice to you should be the same. So it's very hard to get that across to people, because, especially as high call volume, and as much as we run, it's very hard to say, when you're running, and it's the familiar person, and you're just
mhm,
frustrated. It's just if you can't be nice to them, sit
mhm,
behind them and just take them to the hospital.
yeah.
It didn't, you know.
Like Red Snapper. You remember her? There are some good ones out there that
Yeah,
were hilarious.
we live and we learn, I guess.
I do have one more question for you, if you
Okay,
don't
one more.
mind.
Okay.
So in law enforcement, there's always a time like when you see somebody lose their shine. Like there's a rookie, and maybe they've been a rookie for a long time, whatever. But when they've made that change from rookie to non-rookie, because I call it getting the shine knocked off them, like it's a bad call or it's a bad situation or something where you can tell that their whole perspective of the world has shifted. And that's not necessarily good, but it is good to be able to do the job that they have to
Yeah.
do. Do you see that same sort of thing in the EMS world, or is it kind of different?
I think I do. I don't know if I think I see, like, young people who are unsure, or they're afraid, they wanna come in, they wanna talk about, you know, "Hey, I got this question about this call, and I got all these things." And then they come in, and you see when things are starting to click with them, and
Yeah.
they just, like, they're not, "Hey, I don't have any questions." They're like, "Hey, I just wanna tell you about this. Hey, look at this," or, "Hey, look what I saw on this," or,
Yeah.
"Hey, I caught this today." I mean, then it's like it goes from being very unsure to being, proud of their self, and
Yeah.
being, confident. There's a huge difference between confident and cocky,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I hate the cocky, and we got plenty of those. But when they become confident in their self, and they're not
Mm.
questioning their self. I had a call with an advanced, and so we got basic EMTs, advanced EMTs, and then there's paramedics. And the advanced can do more than the EMTs, but they can't do as much as paramedic. And I rode in with an advanced one day, and he was like, I was just helping him, and he was like, "I really like having an adult, but you're letting me do all of
Yeah.
it." And I was like, "Well, you know all the things you need to do. I'm just here to
Yeah.
help you." And it
Yeah.
was just like that. He was just like, "I'm doing all the
Yeah.
things."
Just proud or
And it was. He was like, "But I'm really glad you're here." So,
little security blanket.
yeah, and
Mhm.
it's just it's kinda it's really nice to see them grow.
Yeah.
Especially if we got some people who are lifetime EMTs, and that's great, because I would rather work with a confident, competent EMT who knows their job and knows what they can do. They know their parameters, and they know what they need to do to make
Mm.
so that I can do my job.
Yeah.
I would rather work with somebody like that than a cocky ass paramedic.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people all the time. You have to be a good EMT. You have to be a good basic before you can be a good paramedic. But I love to see people grow when they've been a basic for a while, and then they go. And I honestly think that you should stay at each level you're at for a while.
Mhm.
I didn't do that. I went straight to school, and I never worked as basic. I think it's important, and I like those people that when I go, "Are you going to go to advanced school?" And they're like, "No, I want to be a basic for a while and feel good about where
Mm.
I'm at." And I feel good about that. And then when they come
Yeah.
and go, "I think I'm ready to go to advanced," and I'm like, "Awesome!" I mean, because it's cool to see that growth in them.
Yeah.
I don't think it made me a worse paramedic, but I think it builds confidence in each level as you go. We have
Mhm.
some people who go all the way through, but then sometimes I feel like they struggle more with that
Yeah.
independence because they didn't grow in each spot. And sometimes I think it makes them more cocky because then they didn't have to be the basic on the truck who sometimes is referred to as the truck bitch. Because you know, do all the things, you help me and then you drive and you get me to the hospital and then you help me unload the patient and then it is their job to clean the truck. And
Did not know that.
now if there's 2 paramedics working together and we alternate calls, then whoever's the paramedic is not doing patient care is a truck bitch. And I don't we refer to ourselves, I tell people all the time I'm the truck bitch. I don't mean to be derogatory to basics because a lot of times if we have a bad call, I'm gonna help my partner, regardless of whether they're a basic, an intermediate, advanced,
Yeah.
or a paramedic. I'm gonna help them clean the truck up before I get my ticket done. And I think it's just that partnership. And it's fun to see people grow.
Well, I think we've done some good firefighter bashing on.
We have, but we talk good about them too.
I know. That's why
We're
I
gonna
say
have to
sibling
find you a
rivalry.
firefighter to
I
interview.
know. Oh, I do. I got one.
You do
It'll
got
come
one,
eventually,
yes.
maybe, but we'll see. Oh, I do need to get a firefighter on here though, soon, to prove that I don't dislike them like we joke. But now, is there anything that maybe I didn't ask that you feel like I should have?
No, I think we covered a lot of ground tonight. It was fun. I feel better about life. I was a little scared coming into this.
And then you're like, wait, Tess doesn't know what the fuck she's doing either.
Now I feel better. Tess doesn't know either.
That's really what I probably should call this podcast is we don't know what the fuck
We
we're
don't know what the
doing.
fuck we're doing.
It's fine. It's good. Well, I'll end it unless there's anything else that I missed.
No, I think we're good. We might have to
All right.
revisit some stories. Part 2.
Oh, there's going to be a few part twos in here, I think.